Thank you, Skillshare, for sponsoring this video. You ever have a very, very, very long day of doing nothing? Me too. That's why I like to spend the end of my days relaxing with a nice snack and a nice glass of orange soda. Then I like to get into bed and just relax and watch my shows. But sometimes that relaxation is interrupted with an unwanted email or Instagram DM from a business or company asking you to do work for free and not understanding why you charge so much or why you charge the amount of money you charge at all for your work. That shit just really grind my gears. Alright, party people, how y'all doing today? It's of course your boy Vuhlandes, back with another video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the long conversated topic, which is why photographers charge so much, or why certain photographers charge so much, or why photographers charge what they charge in general. Now, I feel like this is a topic that's been talked about for years, and a topic that's going to be talked about for years to come. For whatever reason, photographers are amongst at the top of the most disrespected artists. And I do believe that's because everybody is a photographer, or it could be because everybody has an iPhone or a phone that they feel like can take photos similar to a DSLR. You ever had somebody come up to you like, look at this photo, I'll take photos just like my phone can take photos just like your camera. Yeah, it can. But let's talk about a couple of things and how I go about charging brands or artists or whatever it is for the work that I do. Now, don't get me wrong, I do a lot of free work. A lot of the work that I do, I charge people nothing. But then again, that also depends on this person by person basis. It doesn't go for everyone. I've been doing photography for almost a decade, and you guys wouldn't believe how many million and billion-dollar companies ask me to do free work all the time, or that they'll pay me in some type of form of merchandise. But I don't know about y'all, but I'm 28 years old. I have a cat, I have a girlfriend, I have a life, I have bills, I have rent to pay, and I'm not sure that my landlord or any of the people that I have to pay bills to is going to accept me giving them a hoodie. Also, the people at these companies don't work for free, so it's amazing to me that they would even want someone to work for free or little to no compensation. And I got a little story for y'all, but let me make it real quick. So one day, somebody that I know, like in passing, don't know them that well, asked me how much I charge for prints. And I was like, oh, cool, somebody wants to buy a print from me. It was like one of the first times anybody's ever wanted to buy a print from me. And I was like doing all these calculations or whatever. Came up with a number that I thought was fair for my work. And when I told him that number, he said, why would I pay you that much when I can just go print it out at Walgreens? Excuse me? You're gonna print my picture out at Walgreens? But like I said, for whatever reason, photographers are super disrespected. So let me give y'all some reasons to why I personally charge as much as I do for certain things. But let me break it down into 3 things, and that's gear, time, and most importantly, self-worth. Now, gear, a lot of photographers clearly have cameras and we have editing software that we spend money on either monthly or we paid a lot of money for to begin with. And while it's nobody's obligation to reimburse us for those things, we are using this software and these cameras for the things that we're being asked to do. Because at this point, for the people who love like gear and specs and stuff like that, if you're gonna spend a lot of money for the latest and greatest 4K, 8K, 6K camera, and you're gonna be getting the best, fastest lenses, it makes no sense to be charging $200 after you spent all that money on camera gear. And to be honest, without that gear, there's no photos to even create for yourself for your portfolio that brands and clients and artists, whatever, can look at to decide if they want to shoot with you or not. And for me personally, I shoot film, so every single time I even take a photo, that's money spent. And while it was my decision to be a film photographer and shoot film exclusively, the people who reach out to me asking me for photos know this information, and they know that that comes with a price. You can't expect somebody to shoot something for free when it costs them money to take these photos. Now moving on. Time, which is very important. Time is very, very important, and you have to figure out how much your time is worth. And honestly, my time being the reason why I made or decided to make this video in the first place. Now, a lot of us spend a lot of time taking photos, working on our craft, practicing. It's just like any other thing that people do to get better. I've been taking photos for almost a decade now, and I've spent a lot of that decade in Lightroom, learning, on the internet, learning, out in the field, learning, taking my time and doing a lot of things with my time to get better at my craft. And for me, that means something. Anybody who takes the time to get better at their craft deserves to be compensated for that. Take basketball players, for example. If LeBron James didn't take the time out to get better, then he wouldn't be where he is. And a lot of people, they don't start off the greatest, but then they work to be better. And once you get better, you start making more money, which I feel like photography and videography has some of the same characteristics. Also, time is very important, and it's something that you will never get back. So the time you spend doing something is time you could have been spending doing something else, making money somewhere else, making photos somewhere else, or just taking your time to be with family, or whatever your time is worth. That means something, and that should cost something. Real quick, I was editing some photos that I took over at Shinola the other day, and like I said, I take photos on film, so whatever. So for me, I can't necessarily go in and tweak things in my camera, or I could shoot with certain film or whatever, but anyway, I can't really go in and tweak things with my camera to make it so that the lighting is good, or that everything is good within camera. So I take pictures, and then once I get them in Lightroom, if they're a disaster, then I have to spend a lot of my time fixing that, like I did with some of the photos that I took for Shinola the other day, which kind of sparked this idea for this video. And I was just like, that just took a lot of time, you know what I'm saying? And also, a lot of the times people feel like photographers don't work hard, or they don't do something because you spent the time, you know, getting better and perfecting your craft, and being able to just go into Lightroom and spend 5 minutes editing a photo. It's not the fact that you can edit a photo in 5 minutes, the fact that you spent years and years and years perfecting what you do so you can edit a photo in 5 minutes. You don't see the little everyday things that photographers or artists do to make themselves better at what they do. And self-worth, which is honestly most important thing on this list. Now I get it. Some people, they start off, they've been taking photos for like a week, and their self-worth is way above than what it, well, I shouldn't say self-worth because it sounds like whatever, but you know what I'm trying to say. People charge a lot more than what they should be charging because they haven't put the time in. But also, people have to understand, like, the whole thing, like going back to the whole thing where people say like, oh, this person did this for me and they didn't charge me that much. Well, you got to understand, brands, artists, whatever, they got to understand who they're asking for work. If I was an artist and I was just starting out and I had no buzz, I had nothing, artist as in music artist, and I had no buzz and I had nothing going really, and I was looking to get features, and I was looking to get a Drake feature, I wouldn't expect to pay Drake the amount of money I paid, I don't know, Lil Pump. It just doesn't work that way. Also, going back to basketball, LeBron James, Steph Curry, the best basketball players in the world, make a lot more money than rookies. That's just how it works. Not every photographer is going to charge the same because of their time, their gear, their self-worth, the time that they put in, the time that they've been around doing what they've been doing, and clearly the things that they've done and the work that they've put out with other, I mean, even to this day when I negotiate some of these YouTube deals, I mean, recently I just had like one of the biggest sponsors that you see on everybody's YouTube channel reach out to me asking me how, you know, how much for an ad read, and they wanted to work with me and whatever, and blah, 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 blah. And I got into a back and forth with them, trying to get them to realize that, like, I can't do a video ad read for you for less than this amount. And that's fine if you don't see my self-worth, and if you don't see the worth in my videos, and you don't see the way I see my video. Like, that's fine. It's okay. We can move on. We don't have to work. It's okay. And it's important that everybody, regardless, now be realistic, but it's important that everybody stands on their self-worth and stands for what they think they are worth. Because the moment you give a company, especially a $1,000,000,000 company, and at the same time, these companies, they're businesses, so they have to run and like whatever. If you don't think that my videos bring enough views or is going to bring enough, business to your business, then that's fine. But maybe in the future when you think that I will, or or my channel gets a little bit better, or whatever the case may be, then we can circle back to it. But for right now, I have to say no to that, which is fine. You should have no problem saying no, but it depends. If you need money, then you need money, and if you don't, sometimes circumstances are different. So it's a case by case thing. So like, I'm just talking in general, but for the most part, if you feel like you deserve something, then you should stick by that and stand on that, because then also it will mess it up for everybody else, because then you're gonna have people be like, oh, I paid this person this much money, and why would I pay you that much? So then it just becomes a thing like that. So yeah, but anyway, this is the reason why I charge what I charge when, charging people for things. If you're still struggling and trying to figure out what you think you should be charging people, then maybe take some of these things and take it into account for yourself and then go from there. But only you know how much you should be making from your art. But hey, while we're speaking about being fair and reasonable, let's talk about today's sponsor, which is Skillshare. So cool, if you want to learn a little bit more about photography or videography, Skillshare is definitely the place for you. But the amazing thing about Skillshare is that it's not just a place where you can learn about one thing. You can learn about an endless amount of things on Skillshare, whether that's cooking, animation, logo design, web development, and many more. Skillshare is curated specifically for learning, so there's never any ads, and they're always launching new and premium classes. A class that I'm watching right now is on Finding Fulfillment by Emma Gannon. In this class, Emma goes over using pivots to power your creative career, while expanding on the power of the pivot, finding your why, and exercising your core values. So the first 1,000 people to join using that link in my description will get a free membership to Skillshare. And as always, thank you Skillshare for sponsoring this video. But anyway, yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for me. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. I would love to hear some comments about how some of you guys, some of the things you guys have gone through with brands about lowballing or trying to pay with merch or whatever it is. Would love to hear that in the comments. So leave a comment below about that. Subscribe to Vuhlandes for more, videography, cinematography. And yeah, man, we're gonna get out of here. Let's go do this shit, bro. You know the vibes. Let's get it.